Augusta. We're watching News 1226 this morning.
The Columbia County Sheriff's Office honoring one of its own. A look at the funeral proceedings for fallen Deputy Brandon Sykes just ahead.
And Columbia County neighbors made sure to show their support and pay respects how they could for Deputy Sykes. We'll have more on his life and legacy in Columbia County coming up. But first, good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Nick Proto.
And I'm Ashley Campbell. It is 6 o'clock on your Tuesday as we send things over to Tim. It's a cool start to the morning.
Here it is, but also starting to get brighter here at 6 a.m. Now, we've got our live eye cam into the upcoming weekend, so we'll touch on that much more shortly, about 6:02.
All right, thanks, Tim. A Columbia County deputy has been laid to rest. This is video of Deputy Brandon Sykes' procession on the way to the Performing Arts Center for his funeral yesterday. As you can see, thousands of people and law enforcement came out in full force, whether it was your local neighbors or officers from all over the state. No matter where you're from, everyone continues to honor Sykes' dedication to serving Columbia County, Augusta Prep students as a veteran, husband, and father.
We heard from his brother during the service, and he told the crowd he once asked Sykes why he would even consider becoming an Army combat medic. And Sykes said that it was to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. And his brother says that he found his true calling as a Columbia County deputy here in 2018.
It was never about the spotlight or notoriety for him. It was always about moving in silence and making a difference to protect his family. He said, what better way to protect my wife and daughter than to make the area around them safer?
After the service, everyone moved outside.
A military salute was held in honor of his service, and it included the traditional 3 volleys of 7 gunshots. Then the crowd heard Deputy Sykes' final call, and helicopters flew over the Performing Arts Center. The rest of the day was for his family. They had a private burial afterwards. Now, the Reverend left the community with a task at hand. Keep caring for Deputy Sykes' family through your actions and support your local law enforcement in the future.
And most of the video that you're seeing behind us right now are people doing just that. They're right outside Abilene Baptist Church. They had their flags in hand, ready to raise them when the procession reached their area. Now, whether you are directly or indirectly impacted by Sykes' death, we have seen so many of you uplifting officers, deputies, firefighters, and other first responders. We heard from several people who wanted to show that they have their backs since authorities responded to their emergencies 24/7. And one woman says that she realized sometimes we take law enforcement for granted.
God, we take for granted his care over us. We take our law enforcement for granted, and I just wanted to show my support in some way, just to let them know that I love them, they're in my prayers. The support from all the people, all the different counties and law enforcement agencies that came and supported Columbia County is amazing, and I'm just so thankful for that.
Between the prayers, meal trains, fundraisers, and the procession yesterday, the CSRA showed that the Sheriff's Office and other agencies are not alone right now.
There are ways you can show your support for the family of Deputy Sykes. If you want and are able to make a financial donation, you can do so with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. They're raising money in memory of Deputy Sykes, and all proceeds will go towards a mortgage-free home for his family. All you have to do is fill out this form with your first and last name, email, home address, and phone number.
And you can still support Deputy Gavin White as well this week. White was shot in the face during that deadly traffic stop. And tomorrow, Shepherd Community Blood Center and the Burke County Sheriff's Office are partnering to host a replenishment drive from 1 to 5 at the Burke County Sheriff's Office. Just last week, Shepherd Community Blood Center says that the Columbia County Blood Drive raised $8,000 for Deputy White's recovery.
Some local businesses are stepping up to help raise money for the deputies' families. Today, Vampire Penguin in Grovetown is donating 20% of all proceeds to the families. Chicken Salad Chicken Evans is doing 10% of their sales. You can order a meal there from 3 to 8. Pelican Snowballs is donating proceeds to Deputy White's family. The Tin Shop in Grovetown still taking donations for both White and Sykes families. Drop-off is from 8 to 4. And don't forget, local shop Daniel Designs is making these special-made Lego-like deputy figurines to raise money for both families. You have until Friday to order one. Just head to Daniel Designs' Facebook page. We have a link to that on our website and WRDW app. Just search figurines, and all proceeds will go to the families of both Sykes and White. The creator, Chris Daniel, has already gifted one to the family of Deputy Sykes.
We have a reminder to drivers. Crews are working each weeknight from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. along Bobby Jones Expressway from exit 5 at Deansbridge Road to exit 9 on Mike Paget Highway. Lanes are going to be closed as crews repair and replace concrete slabs. Workers are going to be in the travel lane, so you do want to use caution and stay alert.
A police chase spanning 2 states ended on the Bobby Jones Expressway at the Wrightsboro Road intersection. Deputies used a tactical maneuver there, a pit maneuver. The chase began yesterday morning in North Augusta before crossing the river. Richmond County deputies then used that pit maneuver to stop the car. It caused quite the scene for other drivers, as when it crashed, a wheel went over the wall on 520 onto Wrightsboro Road.
A man charged with murder in connection to a deadly shooting in Johnston last year has new charges. SLED charging Quinnell Anderson with possession of a weapon during a violent crime. Anderson is accused of shooting and killing 25-year-old Ricky Martin Jr. in an apartment complex. He was arrested in Maryland. Also in this case, SLED charged 37-year-old Roscoe Poe Jr. with accessory after the fact to murder in March.
SLED's asking for your help with any information about a 2024 Bamberg killing. Officials say 22-year-old Throne Fleming was found shot dead in January that year on Heritage Highway. Deputies found shell casings around his body. The night before, officials say deputies were called out about someone being shot after a fight, but they weren't able to find anything. If you have any information, you can email or call the SLED tip line.
We're on your side this morning with a safety alert as the Real ID deadline is only 1 day away and scammers are trying to take advantage of you. The Better Business Bureau says this year, last-minute rush across the country is prime time for scammers. The agency says don't believe anyone claiming that they can speed up the process.
Con artists love when there is a new government mandate because it's easy for them to impersonate government agencies and take advantage of people who might not know the exact directions about how to go getting a real ID.
They say to watch out for any texts, emails, and phone calls claiming to get your real ID with the click of a button. They add to make sure that the website you're on has a URL of .gov to make sure that it's the real thing. And while you get your real ID through the DMV or Department of Driver Services website, it's safer to just go ahead and go in person. And today is the final day to get your real ID, and here's where you need to get one. Either your birth certificate or passport, 2 documents to prove where you live, and that can be a paycheck or utility bill, even your social security number.
Another safety alert here, the FDA issuing a recall for tomatoes that were sold in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. Williams Farms Repack says 9 types of tomato products may be contaminated with salmonella. They're tomatoes that were sold to wholesalers and retailers between April 23rd and 28th. Here's a list of some of them included in that recall. They're organized by size and lot code. You can take a picture of this. You can also find it on our website, WRDW.com, if you search tomatoes. If you have any of them that match this description here on your screen, you should return them for a refund. So far, though, no illnesses have been reported.
If you live in South Carolina, you could receive a surprise check in the mail as early as this week. That's thanks to a new initiative from State Treasurer Curtis Loftus called the Palmetto Payback. It returns unclaimed property to its owner, and you don't even have to file a claim. The State's Treasurer's Office estimates 1 in 7 people in South Carolina have unclaimed property, with the average property worth more than $500. Road construction should mean improvements and potential, but for some businesses, it seems to be hurting more than it's helping. We're going to have more on what's being done to solve that problem coming up.
Sun coming up in less than half an hour. Got a beautiful look here. A little bit of scattered cloud cover off to the eastern sky. A warm up today, and talking about rain chances when we come back. Stay with us.
As we head to break, giving you a live look at Grovetown at I-20. It's 10 after 6.
You were just doing your job.
We'll manage some 70s to finish off tomorrow, but also maybe a little bit wet into early Thursday morning with 60-degree temperatures sticking around. Thursday afternoon, the rain chances look a little more spotty than what we're doing tomorrow around midday, kind of coming in widely scattered for rain chances tomorrow. But that threat for rain is going to stay all the way to the weekend. Back and forth we go with 80s and middle 70s through Saturday and Sunday, keeping those mornings nice and cool throughout the weekend in the 50s too. 616.
All right, thanks, Tim. Bright orange construction cones are a daily sight for many drivers across South Carolina. They're often signs of improvement and growth, but could also mean hard times for businesses located along roads where that work's happening, especially if it gets delayed.
That's right. Your South Carolina State House reporter Mary Green explains how new legislation could provide relief to small businesses impacted by that road construction.
At times it gets so confusing trying to get in here. You would think that we're closed.
Right in front of James Etheridge's business, Southern Crave, is the ongoing construction on Hardscrabble Road in Richland County. The project is several years behind schedule, and business owners up and down the street say it's hurt their bottom lines.
Our business has declined some weeks 60%.
Our potential clients have said that it's just a maze to try to get over here. They don't want to be bothered. It's too much.
They've tried to adjust. The nail salon next door hoped these large signs and shifted hours would bring in more customers. And the adult daycare across the street redid its building layout to make it easier to get in and out.
We're talking very expensive. It was just one thing after the other that we had not anticipated in our budget.
A new bipartisan bill would establish a program for small businesses in South Carolina to apply for zero interest and forgivable loans to help with costs incurred because of construction on their road. They'd have to meet certain requirements, like their business being open by the end of 2024 and having no more than 100 employees, and be able to show their revenue has dropped at least 25% during construction.
These are mom and pop shops, the service providers, the family restaurants, the economic lifeline into our neighborhoods.
It would also only apply to state road projects that have been delayed at least 36 months from when they were initially supposed to be finished.
This bill is about more than relief. It's about fairness. It's about ensuring that the cost of progress isn't shouldered solely on the small businesses that make our communities vibrant and strong.
This bill was just introduced last week, and the legislative session ends here this Thursday, so it won't become law this year. But this is the first of a 2-year session, so lawmakers can pick it up when they return here in January. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
The South Carolina Department of Commerce would oversee the program. The amount available in loans would depend on how much the General Assembly chooses to allocate for the program.
A bill coming to South Carolina House floor that will require medical professionals to go through training on recognizing human trafficking signs. Research found more than 85% of human trafficking victims will seek medical attention during their victimization, so this puts healthcare workers on the front lines to identify it.
In fact, it was our medical professionals indicating to us that they really wanted to see more training, be able to identify, signs to look for, questions to ask, resources that would be available. And so this bill is really an example of us coming together with law enforcement, the medical profession, to make a really common sense small change that I hope will help us better identify these cases.
The training would be a 1-hour course completed with every license renewal or reinstatement. If the bill passes the House before the end of the legislative session, the Senate will take it up next January.
A new artificial intelligence company, Quirky AI, is opening in South Carolina. Much like ChatGPT or OpenAI, Quirky is here to help you with your daily life. And it was made for only $2 million, which is a fraction of the price of other AI platforms. And its creators say they want it to become the local AI service.
We're offering something that is a complementary addition to their existing infrastructure.
So why South Carolina? Well, the company staff is made up of many graduates from USC. The company's grand opening is set for this afternoon at 2 p.m. on Huber Street in Columbia. A nationwide pharmacy is filing for bankruptcy, and you could soon be able to get to your Social Security card in a new way. We're going to have that and more coming up in your morning business report.
And as we head to break, giving you a live look here at I-20 at 6:20. We'll be right back.
time for the
About Sky Rizzy.
Thank you for watching News 12 on your side.
The weather, it's something that affects us all every day. From sunny to severe and anything in between. This is why we First Alert.
Live from Augusta, you're watching News 1226 this morning.
A veteran, deputy, husband, and father. That is how a fallen Columbia County deputy is being remembered after his funeral. We're going to take a look at how he was honored by all of the community.
And coming up later this week, there's some rain in the forecast. Tim's going to take a look at what you need to be prepared for in just a few minutes. A lot to get to this morning, but first, good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Nick Proto.
And I'm Ashley Campbell. 6:30 now on your Tuesday. Sending it over to Tim as the sun starts to rise. It's a beautiful morning.
Yeah, about 5 minutes away or so here. We kind of shifted the camera off out in Grovetown, a little bit more down to Lewiston Road, but giving us a perfect view of what will be definitely kind of the last dry one here, because rain chances will go up as we start moving into the middle of the week. We'll get to that shortly. About 6:32, guys.
All right, thanks, Tim. Deputy Brandon Sykes was laid to rest yesterday. The funeral service for the Columbia County deputy honored his devotion to protecting the community.
Sykes is remembered by many for his different roles in the community, including a veteran, a deputy, brother, husband, even a father. And what you're seeing is video from that procession yesterday leading to the Columbia County Performing Arts Center. Crowds of people lined the roads and thousands of law enforcement agencies escorting his body to that service. During the service, some of his favorite songs were played, and Sykes' brother was among the speakers. He spoke about why his brother always wanted to protect people, even as a combat medic in the U.S. Army.
I asked him, why would you choose such a dangerous job? He told me because I get to help people who can't help themselves.
And that only helped him find his true calling, a Columbia County deputy protecting the community where he, his wife, and daughter called home.
The overriding goal for Brandon was to serve people and to help people.
It was never about the spotlight or notoriety for him. It was always about moving in silence and making a difference to protect his family.
The service included a video tribute to Sykes showing photos throughout his life. Reverend John Kenny, the service's officiator, called on the community to care for each other just as Sykes does. After the service, everyone moved outside.
Because of his service as a combat medic in the Army, Sykes was given full military honors, including the traditional 3 volleys of 7 gunshots.
Sykes' final call over the Columbia County radio frequency was played as well, followed by a helicopter flyover. And once that was finished, his family had the rest of the day to themselves to mourn their loss with a private family burial. Now, as we mentioned before, the roads leading to the Columbia County Performing Arts Center were joined by members of the community to pay their respects to Deputy Sykes.
Many watched from the street, others watched from the windows, but everyone was waving any blue ribbons and American flags they had for Deputy Sykes. Lasting more than an hour, that procession was filled with law enforcement motorcycles, fire trucks, ambulances, and patrol cars from different agencies, with some fire trucks displaying a giant American flag on the way to the Performing Arts Center.
And just support is overwhelming, and the community support, the people lining the streets. You know, we could see people out here on Bobby Jones and up on Washington Road standing out.
It felt really heartwarming that a lot of people came out to help support for our law enforcement community. Letting him know that they thank him for, you know, defending us from something like that before it kind of happened.
The community letting the sheriff's office know they support them in times like this.
And there are other ways you can show your support for the family of Deputy Sykes. If you would like to and are able to make a final donation, you can do so to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. They're raising money in memory of Deputy Sykes, and all proceeds will go toward a mortgage-free home for his family. All you have to do is fill out this form with your first and last name, your email, home address, phone number. We do have that on our website as well.
And you can still support Deputy Gavin White this week. He was shot in the face in that traffic stop last month. Tomorrow, the Shepherd Community Blood Center and Burke County Sheriff's Office are teaming up to host a blood replenishment drive. That's from 1 to 5 at the Burke County Sheriff's Office. Just last week, the Shepherd Blood Center says their Columbia County blood drive raised $8,000 for Deputy White's recovery.
Time now 6:35. Happening tomorrow, U.S. Representative Rick Allen is going to be holding a community office hour in Lincoln County from 12:30 to 2 p.m. in the Commissioner's Conference Room at the Lincoln County Courthouse. Now, this comes after when protesters were held. Protests were held at Allen's Augusta office. Those protesters demanding more in-person town hall meetings from Allen due to political issues that were not being addressed.
Coming up later today, you have the chance to weigh in on the proposed budget for the upcoming school year in Columbia County. There's going to be a budget presentation and input at 5:30 p.m. at the Board of Education. The board will then consider a tentative approval of the budget with a final approval on May 13th.
Aiken Public Safety officers are investigating a man with knife wounds found on Sumter Street yesterday afternoon. Officers found that man with lacerations to his body. The man was taken to the hospital, but we're working to learn more about his current condition.
6:36 now. A child is dead after a head-on collision at Peach Orchard Road and Tobacco Road. Deputies say 8-year-old Camden Poole from Hepzibah was killed. Deputies say the first car with 2 adults and a child were driving on Peach Orchard towards Tobacco Road, and the second car with 1 adult was driving the opposite way on Peach Orchard in the left turn lane when that crash happened. The adults in the first vehicle were taken to the hospital. Still ahead, a manhunt for a murder suspect is now reaching multiple counties. We're going to show you the latest updates from officials coming up.
And we're looking at that sun. Look at it, just starting to peek over the horizon. Beautiful morning, nice and cool too, with 40s and 50s. A nice warm day today, but the rain chances, they are moving in midweek. That's all next.
And as we head to break, giving you a live look right now at Calhoun Expressway at 6:37.
Welcome back. Time for our dog walk forecast. We've got June here. I bet June's excited for next month.
I wonder what June's looking at.
Squirrel.
Oh, sitting up so nice and elegant.
Yeah. All right. Tim, how are we looking out there?
We're looking good here. We've got that sunrise that we just want to kind of spoil you with as long as we can. We can't stay on it too long with a little scattered cloud cover, and the sky always makes for some nice colors out there. But then in the mid-70s, chance of some showers around on Mother's Day, but doesn't look as high as the rain chances that'll come before that on Friday, Saturday here. Guys, we're at 6:43.
A month-long manhunt for a murder suspect is now spreading across the county lines. Screven County authorities say that 19-year-old Demarion Butler is wanted for the murder of 21-year-old Isaiah Barbie back in early April. Officials investigating the case say that the 2 men were not strangers. But now authorities say that he's been seen in a different Georgia county, and law enforcement there is warning neighbors.
Your Olivia Wright is in Rankin, where Butler was last seen.
A months-long search that started in Screven County ended up coming here Saturday evening when Rankin police warned residents in the area to lock their doors as 19-year-old homicide suspect Demarion Butler was last seen here. Saturday evening, Effingham County deputies and U.S. Marshals attempted to arrest Demarion Butler in the city of Rankin. They say Butler ran away. He was reportedly last seen here on West 7th Street. Rankin police took to social media to warn residents, telling them to lock their doors and that Butler is considered armed and dangerous. The same exact thing Screven County deputies told the community almost a month ago when the manhunt began.
This is a big deal and scary. That we want this to come to an end just as bad as anybody else.
Screven County deputies have been searching for Butler since April 7th when a warrant went out for his arrest for the murder of 21-year-old Isaiah Barbie. Deputies found Barbie laying in the middle of the road with a gunshot wound.
The U.S. Marshals are leading the search for him, and they're very good at what they do. So I don't think he's out running around by himself. He definitely has some help. Now, who's helping him? I don't have any knowledge of that.
Clint Williams with the Screven Sheriff's Office says he wants to warn anyone who may be aiding Butler.
The family and friends that may know where he is, that if you assist him, Mr. Butler, to evade law enforcement, Under Georgia law, that's a felony.
Williams says that if you see or know anything that could help, you can reach all the law enforcement offices involved in this case.
If you have any information on Butler's whereabouts, call the Screven County Sheriff's Office or the GBI.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, who was here yesterday for Deputy Brandon Sykes' funeral, announced he will not be running for the U.S. Senate seat in 2026, that seat held by incumbent John Ossoff. Kemp will leave the governor's office after 8 years in 2027 and has been at the top of picks to run for Senate among Republicans. In a statement, Kemp says, quote, "I spoke with President Trump and Senate leadership earlier today and expressed my commitment to work alongside them to ensure we have a strong Republican nominee who can win next November and ultimately be a conservative voice in the U.S. Senate who will put hardworking Georgians first." With Kemp out of the race, the door opens for other Republicans to step up against Ossoff. Some of those leaders include U.S. Representatives Buddy Carter, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Mike Collins, and Rich McCormick, and Georgia's Insurance and Fire Commissioner John King, as well as Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
A growing number of measles cases is causing doctors to warn people about dangerous misinformation going around about vaccines. Georgia falls below the threshold for herd immunity of 95% of people vaccinated, but doctors say there shouldn't be any hesitation when it comes to the measles vaccine because of the illness.
Essentially the most contagious infectious disease that we look at. It's maybe 8 or 9 times more so than COVID. And it used to be, before we had the vaccine, that pretty much everyone got it. But really what we're doing is very high-tech chicken soup to try to support people through the infection.
In Georgia, 6 out of 10 adults say that they've heard about or read false links of autism and the MMR vaccine, with less than a quarter believing it. But that amount still creates vaccine hesitancy. The CDC reports the number of vaccinated children under 2 is at 64.3% and has continued to fall each year because of that hesitancy.
Atlanta leaders voted
every Sunday night at 11:30.
In a world of busyness and noise, there's one person who remains the anchor of our lives. She's the heart of our home. Through laughter and love, she cultivates memories that will last a lifetime. A beacon of strength, kindness, and unwavering love. She's celebrated not just for all that she does, but for the woman she is.
Hot weather is here,